Hello all, I'm Ruchika. I coordinate with y'all on WhatsApp. Those who are asking me about certificates and stuff. So after these sessions get over in 2 to 3 days, y'all are supposed to make projects. And after successful completion and submission of projects, y'all will be given your certificates. I think most of y'all asked me the same questions. It is addressed now. So thank you. We'll start the session now. Josh.
Okay. Uh, yeah, am I visible and audible as well?
Yeah, just yeah.
Okay. So firstly, I've posted up two links in the chat box. One is both of them are for Font Awesome. I'll tell you what to do with it. Is the link also visible?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. I just posted again. Now is it visible? Okay, yeah. So those two links are for actually Font Awesome, and it actually I'll just share my screen and I tell you where it is used. Yeah, so the icon that we are able to see here, the search icon and everything, that is the Font Awesome icon. So yesterday, actually, I told you about that. I'll be explaining you things and you have to build it up. I'll send you the codes. But I thought that it would be more preferable that you know the grid system and we build it together. So that is what was in our mind. So now actually the things that we saw today are being builded. We are going to build from scratch right now. So we'll start it out right away. So firstly, oh sorry. Yeah, so is my screen visible?
Yeah, just it's visible.
Okay, so this is the starter template that was provided to you guys. So firstly, make a folder, place in that starter template in that folder, then make a folder. You actually have to make two folders. One would be for CSS and other would be for images. So I'll name one folder as CSS and then one folder as for images. Yeah, please place in the name as CSS and images. It is recommended, or else if I write the path to be CSS in the style sheet slash style.css, you won't be generating because the folder name would be different. I'll just place in the folder name as practice, and okay, we can now start. So click on the practice folder, click on the starter.html part and open with Visual Studio Code. So as you can see that this was the template that was provided. Now what we have to do is, up till now everybody is clear, right? Hello. Okay. Okay. So now what we have to do basically is that we'll be actually copy pasting in our Font Awesome link. So as you can see, okay, now I guess everybody can the Font Awesome uh, script are also being seen, and you have to just copy paste it. Those are the two links that help us integrate the Font Awesome library with the website that we are going to build. So right now a boilerplate is actually ready, and one more thing that we have to do is that we are going to make our style sheet present. Firstly, we just open that folder up. So open folder, select that practice folder. Here is the CSS file, the image folder, CSS folder, and the starter.html template. I'll open it, and as I can see, yes, I trust the authors, and it is open. So now what we are going to do is that in this starter.html, I'll just rename it and make it index.html. And pressing enter, it will be saved. Now, the second part of this would be that the link is not working. Which link is not working? Manshu, the font, we have not actually made anything with Font Awesome. So I don't think that any of the links that they have posted would be not working. We'll come to that part when we make up a card. We'll be actually making up and pasting up two links. Then it would be working, I guess. Right now, there is no point in love. There is nothing that the link is not working or something like that. I don't know how the link is not working. So we'll be actually pasting it and making the style sheet. So what we're going to do is that below the bootstrap, anywhere you want in the head, we'll be making link, entering, and the reference would be CSS style .css, but there is no style.css. So firstly, we are going to click on the CSS folder, click on the first tab, new file tab, pressing it and writing style.css and placing enter. Now, as you can see, the file is empty. I'll be going back to my index.html and writing out style, and it is visible here. I'll be clicking it, and my style sheet has been now integrated with the index.html page file. Up till now, everybody is with me, right? See, this is the session that is going to be hands-on. So it would be very good that you do the things that I'm doing on my screen with me, so that you can get an idea of what are the errors that you get while you are typing, or what are the things that you are not getting while typing. Because now after this, we'll be moving to the back end. So it would be convenient that front end part is cleared out to you today itself. That's why it is in HTML. It's coming in HTML format. Okay. So now if I open, see the name here is actually, I'll just give the name as home page, saving it up, and now opening it with live server. So as you can see that I get a blank page. Is everybody getting a blank page like this? When you open with live server, what do you want me to re-explain on it? You just need to copy paste the link that I'll just walk through it one more time. You just need to copy paste the link that was provided in the chat box, the Font Awesome link. Then you need to go to the CSS folder, click the first new file here. Clicking on the new file, you will be giving the name as style.css, then coming back to the starter.html page, means the index.html page, and then writing up link, then giving the href as css-style.css. This is the only thing that the code is not working. Actually, we have not written anything that it won't be working. We are just integrating the links up. In the starter.html, you just need to do this thing that I have told you, pasting up two links and writing link. What error are you getting? Others, are you with me? If yes, please put in a yes so that we can continue with the first part, that is the nav bar. It is coming in HTML format. It's just a CDN link which you guys need to import. Don't open. Okay, I'll give you some time to figure out that what that is. So firstly, now we'll be building the component. So yesterday, as I told you, that we are actually not writing the whole nav bar. We are taking the Bootstrap library, taking the nav bar from that Bootstrap library and pasting it in and doing styling. So we'll be doing that from now. Firstly, I'll just write two session variables, pressing enter and giving session a ID. Every session variable, it is good that you give it a ID. So ID, enter, and we give it nav. So that's a short form for navbar. Now we'll be going to our Safari browser or a Chrome browser. We'll be searching up for navbar bootstrap. VS Software. Okay, so write navbar bootstrap, and there the navbar.bootstrap is the first link that is available, https:/get bootstrap.com. So this is the bootstrap library component that is provided to us. We click it in and the first part appears, that is navbar. If not, then search navbar and there is the navbar and you get here. So, or you can just scroll it down and navbar is after navs, which is after model. So you go down and the first thing that you see is navbar with 3-4 things in it: a home icon, the home link, a link, a drop down, a disabled link, and a search bar. We won't be needing a search bar, but we'll be copy pasting the whole code from here. We'll be copy pasting this code and putting it in our boilerplate. So up till now, it is just copy pasting. I'll paste it in the chat box. It would be way more easy for you, Rizwan, so to go and take it from there, because if I paste in the chat box, the formatting would be gone, and formatting is something that is must in web development, because if there is any tag that is closed somewhere else, then whole formatting changes. So I'll just walk through you one more time. Go to Google, write navbar bootstrap, the first link that appears, click on that link, search navbar here, enter, and the navbar appears, and go and download the first part that is present, the first code that is present on the screen. Yeah, so now as I have copy pasted it, I'll just open with live server. Live server is also an extension, and as you can see that this is something that we get. So here is the drop down, some action, another something else. There is a search icon. This is the home page, and this is the nav bar. So firstly, we won't be needing the search bar. So I'll be just taking the form tag. Actually, we write search in form tag because after all, it needs backend. To search something, we need a database, we need a backend language. That's why we use or write that part in a form tag. So I'll be taking this form tag, copying, pasting it, and making and pressing delete. So the form tag is gone. So now again, if we refresh and go to the live server, this the part where search was is gone. So right now, if I need my links to be on the right hand side, to be on the extreme right hand side, what I'll be doing is that I'll be going in the div class after UL and placing it a ML. MR means margin right, ML means margin left. So margin left auto, I'll be saving it, and everything that we see will be shifted on the left hand side. On the left hand side, yeah. Up till now, everything is fine, I guess, right? No. I don't create any folder in front in CSS. FontAwesome is just to script. As you had Bootstrap CDN and we pasted it in the HTML file, we'll be pasting the FontAwesome link above the HTML or below the below this Bootstrap CDN. There is no need to create a folder or something like that for FontAwesome. So the navbar, a basic rough HTML navbar has been created. And as we can see that everything up till now is working. The drop down is working, the links are there. Okay, it won't be taking me anywhere because I have not actually referenced out anything to that. I have to actually refer here something so that I can go. We'll be coming to that in a while. So now what basically I want to do is that now I want to actually style my navbar. So right here, Bootstrap provides us with all the things that we need. The components are provided to us by Bootstrap. Now actually we are going to style the component. We are going to style the navbar. So firstly, what I'm going to do is that I don't want the navbar tag here. I actually want a image here. So what I'll be doing is that I'll be just removing the navbar, pressing enter and getting an image tag as we had in the first session. So here is an image tag. I'll be actually pressing out image slash something, but I don't have an image in the image tag. So I'll be going to Google Chrome, or you can have any image that you want to place there and you can take it out. So I have two images downloaded in my downloaded section. So I'll be copying it and pasting it in my image folder. I had made two folders earlier. One was CSS, other is image. I'll be opening that image folder and I'll be placing in there two images. As you can see in my image folder, the two images are placed. Now I'll be going back to my Visual Studio Code, and as you can see that the image are posted here. I'll be just changing the name of that image to image1 and pressing enter, and it would be saved. So right now I'm going to do a thing that I'll be actually making a path for that image. So what the path is, source is something, source gives us a path. Source means it's a path. So I have to tell source that from where my image is coming. So my image is coming from image folder, and then there is an image. So image, then a backslash and image.png. Now the image will be there. Now I'll be giving image with a particular width and a particular height. So now I'll be going outside that part. Alternate is something that if my image is not recalled due to some circumstances on my website, there would be many times that the scripts that you have written, the paths that you have given, the links that you have provided it, the browser would be compatible enough, or there will be some error that the image won't be shown. So that's why you write your something so that if the image is not being shown, that alternative name or the alternative thing for that image can be shown. So I'll write here image1. Right now my image is completely compatible, so I won't be getting an error. So I'll be giving my image a particular width and a particular height. So I guess the width would be 260 and my height would be 50. I'll be saving this up and I'll be opening this with live server. And as you can see that my image is present here. What if we copy paste image directly from Google? See, Juhi, what we do is that we take a domain. Yeah, I'll just show you the code. Every component that I'll build, I'll be waiting for some time. I'll be taking up the doubts that are presented in the chat box, and then I'll be building a new component or styling the component. Yeah, so Juhi, actually what we do is that we take a domain and a host. From the codes that I've written, the structures that I've built, the files that I've made, the folders that I've built are all copy pasted on that domain and to that host. So it would be convenient for that particular domain to go in the folders that I've given to that domain and take up files from there. So images is something that I build and image is something that I give. You can also go to Google, copy the relevant path and place it in, but I won't recommend it. Doing something, building a folder of image, copy downing that image and pasting it in the image folder is a convenient method. Okay, so I guess up till now, the navbar is something that everybody gets up till now. So we can actually continue it. Guys, can I move? Is the navbar part up till now clear to you guys? Okay, so now actually we'll be styling up our links. Yeah, so the first link that we have would be the home link, the link. Firstly, just let me just change the name for the links. So first would be home. Second, we are also building up table, and we are also building up forms. Okay, so I'll be not making anything in drop down because I guess drop down is if there is any secondary page. I just displayed you yesterday that what happens when you build a secondary page and provide a link, and what happens when you don't provide a link. So we won't be wasting our time in that. Acha, okay. So I guess somebody is telling me to wait. Please wait for 2 minutes. Okay, I'll wait for 2 minutes. Just tell me when I can start, so I'll continue. How do you turn on WordWrap in VS Code? Okay, so first you will be going to the view section that is presented on the desktop. Click on view, click on the WordWrap, and it will be turned on. Mine was on, now I made it off. I have turned it on now. Okay, so now I'll continue. The first thing that we'll do is that the first nav classes that we have will be going there. So what navbar is, the first class is navbar. It tells us that what is it? It's a navbar. So that's a navbar. Navbar expand LG. So yesterday, as I told you, I want my navbar to expand when it is LG and close or get concise when it is less than LG. This is the part of that grid system that I explained you yesterday. You can make it MD, you can also make it SM, but the two basic paths that are used is MD or LG. So I prefer MD, so that after the desktop, okay, just a second. I guess now my screen is visible. There was somebody in the chat box that wrote to me that my screen was not visible nicely. Now is it visible? Okay, so now we'll be continuing. Okay, so navbar, I will prefer navbar expand MD. So what this does is that when my screen is less than MD, as in my screen right now is less than MD, this is somewhat MD is. So it is less than MD. So I get a drop down here, a toggler here. This is called a toggler. This 3-bar lines is a toggler. So whenever, if there is any website that I open on my phone, it would provide me with the option of this, because if I don't use this, then it would be very much shabby. There are only 4 links present here. There are many links that are present in websites. So it would look very shabby. So that's why we give it a toggler, which is given to us by Bootstrap. So when my screen is less, then my actual desktop screen, it gives me a toggler. So that's why we given a command of navbar extend MD. So when my screen is less than MD, it should give me a toggler. Here we are given that image, and now we'll actually style the navbar that we saw yesterday. So first part is, so right now I'll be just placing your navbar dash style. I'll be giving up some syntaxes right now, then we'll be going to the CSS files, calling in these syntaxes and giving them a particular styling. So be with me, we'll show you what does this do. And write with me, write also. Yeah. So the first part that we'll be styling is the links, the table, and the drop down and the form as well. So everything that we need to style, will be giving them a class and a name. So the class is already being given by Bootstrap to us. The nav item class, the nav link class, everything is given to us by Bootstrap. So this is something that is provided to us by Bootstrap. We'll just go through it in a quick time, and then we start styling. So what nav toggler means, that if my screen is concise, I need a button that can work when it collapses. What collapse navbar means that I want to also show my collapsed link when it collapses. So my navbar should support the content when it is collapsed. What nav items are, you all know that you write a UL. UL has a class of navbar nav, and in that navbar nav, I want my nav items. So I write nav items, and I have provided some links to my nav items. So I write a class of nav link to a particular name that I've provided. So here, this is a class of nav link. There is a href that I'll be putting a link of home dot index.html itself, because this is the first page and I want my home page to redirect to the page itself. So I write index.html here, click it, and my page would be redirecting to that page itself. Yeah. So now this second part that we'll be doing is that we will be giving some classes to the link items that we have. So the first link item that we have is home. So I'll be going here, putting in a class of active means the first link that we have. So I'll be putting in a class of navbar dash link dash style. In my navbar, there is a link that I need to style. You can place in any name that you want. It's not that you have to write there is no compulsion that you have to write navbar dash link dash style. You just need to write whatever you are given with, but a good coder writes the things that are relevant to the code. For example, there is a navbar, there is a link that I want to style. Therefore, navbar dash link dash style. So navbar dash link dash style. So I'll be doing the same thing here as well. I'll be taking up navbar dash link dash style. Same goes with the drop down images as well. But in the drop down images, you need to make sure that you don't write anything in the drop down section, because I don't want my drop down section to get anything. My drop down section should also have a class of navbar style link, which is yours, so every a tag that you have, you'll be giving it a class of navbar dash link dash style, and also to the drop down menus. And I don't want my link to be disabled, so I'll be cutting this out. I guess everybody saw what a disabled link does. I'll be also showing you that this class, there is a class of drop down dash divider. So we'll be just looking at once that what is a divider. So as you can see that there is a line above something else here. So I'll be just looking at it. I want to remove this line. This line is created because of that drop divider. So I'll be just removing it out because I don't require it. This was something that was provided to me by the Bootstrap framework. But I don't need that. So I'll be removing it. Same goes with disabled. Disabled is some link that you can't click. The link is disabled. You can't click. So I'll be also removing that and giving it a class of navbar dash link dash type. And we'll be going it up. And as you can see, everything that I wanted is visible. The home is visible. The form is also visible. I can drop down and I can see things. So this is a basic navbar that you can actually design. Right now, I've just given classes to that navbar. I haven't designed those classes. So if everybody is okay and right up till now, everybody has completed the things up till now, we'll be classing out the nav. We'll be styling out the navbar in the CSS now. A couple of yes would do. If you want me to wait, I'll just wait. Just tell me. Hello, am I audible? Can you navbar extend? Okay, I'll explain you the navbar extend part. Okay. So what this particular part does is that I have a navbar on my screen. Now, as we had looked at the grid system yesterday, there were 4 types of grid system. One is MD, one is LG, one is XM, and one is SF. So MD is for that tablets and less than tablets. SM is for phone, and LG is for screens that are bigger than desktop. So I want my, I'll just give you the example of that. That see, right now I am looking this part on a desktop, but what if this is something that I've opened on my phone? So I want a toggler to this. So if I want to provide this functionality, I want the navbar to know that it needs to expand when it is on the screen of MD, and it needs to shrink and give me toggler when the screen is MD. So this line indicates that. Yeah, what happens with navbar style link? Yeah, so right now nothing would happen. I have just given it a class. As we had seen in CSS, we were writing a h1 giving a name of head. Then I'll be now going to my CSS file that is your. I'll be writing navbar dash style dash link, and then I'll be designing, and then you will see what happens when we do this. So if everybody is up for that, I'll be just going to that. Can I go for the navbar styling, guys? A couple of yes would do. Okay. So now I'll be going to my style.css. Yeah. So the first part of my style.css is completely blank. I'll be styling my CSS from the very scratch. So firstly, I want my C. I'll be just going to and fro. So just be with me. The first part that I want to style is my navbar. As you can see, the links are very much close to each other, and it is on a completely left-hand side. So firstly, I want to provide it with some padding and margin. So what I'll do is that I'll go to my CSS, first call in the class that I've given. That class is navbar. So for class, we use dot and then navbar. Then I'll be placing in some curly brackets, and then I'll be passing functions. The functions that I want to use would be padding left, padding right, and some top padding. So padding dash left, which would be 6%. You can write pixels, you can write REM, you can get what the relation between pixel and REM is. When you Google it out, I'll be using percentage or 6%, and I want this to be important. So what I do, I firstly, this should be important. I want to do same things for top and right as well. So I'll be copy pasting it. I'll be giving this padding left to padding right, and I'll be tweaking this padding as just padding. This would be 6%. I don't want anything to happen to my top, so I'll be giving it 0 pixel. I just want my padding of 6% to the bottom. I'll be just saving it up, and we'll see what happens now. Okay, we just style the whole navbar first, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, yeah. So the second part that I want to style is my navbar style that I have given here. I want to give a box shadow to the bottom. So navbar dash style, and then a box shadow. I just missed a dot here, so dot navbar dash style, and I want a box dash shadow, class of box dash shadow 204px 8px, and some colors. So the first color would be RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.2, and the second color would be 0, 6 px, 20 px, will be Sorry, your commas won't be there. And then 0 again, and then again RGBA value, RGBA. I'll be explaining you this, don't worry. Just let me write it out so that you can get the idea of how do we write up things here, and then I'll be explaining you. Okay, yeah. So I'll be just saving this up. Then we'll go into the navbar and see what happens. So as you can see, I get a shadow under this. So what this does is that I wanted a shadow in my below my navbar. So I had a class placed here saying navbar style, and I got a navbar style from the box shadow. Box shadow, the first part is the first would be the R color, the B color, the pixels that I want. The on the top I want 0 pixel, on the right hand side I want 0 pixel, 4 and 8 pixels. That is what I need. And the RGBA means the value of R, the value of G, the value of B, and A means the opacity that I want. Same goes with this. Don't worry more about the styling part. Just look at the styling that I'm doing, and when you do the styling on your own after a particular amount of time, you will get to know what are the things that you want for styling and what are the things I want for styling. Yesterday I had used a border, today I'm using a box shadow under the navbar so that I can distinguish it. So right now, if the box shadow part is okay, now we'll be moving to the navbar style links, if everybody is up for it. A couple of yes would do again. If you want to see the code, I'll wait for some time. So let's move to the navbar style, navbar dash link dot styles. Now let's style our link. So I'll write a dot, a navbar dash style, a navbar dash link dash style. Can you explain navbar code a little again? Okay, so the navbar code is I wanted some padding in my navbar. I don't want to style anything out. It's just the navbar that I want to give. So I provided a padding of left hand side of something. I provided a padding of right hand side to something. So as you can see that right now, if I inspect the element, the padding that I'm getting, the padding the part that is left out from here and here. As you could see that if I just remove this padding up and save it and again open it, everything would be to the extreme ends. As you can see, the form is to the extreme end, the image is to the extreme end. I just want them to be a little more away from the ends. So that's why I give it a style, which is of padding. So styling means padding. The error is that I have not assigned anything to this side. So did you explain? And then the second part that I used was navbar style. I just want to provide a box shadow below my navbar so that I can give a good shadowish part to my navbar. So that's why I've used box shadow. Now I'll be styling up my link. I'll be completing the navbar and explaining you or just giving you a good idea about the code again. Just be with me till the end and then we'll actually look at it. The first part that I want my navbar links to have is color. So I'll be doing color, font size, font weight, letter spacing, text transform. These are the 5 things that actually are very crucial for a navbar. So I'll be doing all of those things. So I'll be using color. I want my color to be dark blue. I'll be taking up dark blue. I'll be having a font weight part, and I'll be giving a font weight of approximately 500. I'll be giving a font size, and that would be of I can say 14 pixel. Font weight means the boldness that you need in your font, and font size means the size of that font that you have written. I want every letter to have a spacing, the letter, individual letter, to have a spacing. So I'll be giving pixel. I don't need more. And then I'll be taking up text transform. I want everything that I have written in the nav bar to be in uppercase. This is something that you can use or you cannot use. It's upon you, and it should be uppercase. So let's save this up and check it out. What does this look like? So as you can see, I guess the color has been displayed here. I guess I've been given classes. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see that the letter are been in capital, there is a spacing, a letter spacing, and everything is completely nice. So now we'll be styling it. Now we'll be actually giving some of margin to that part. So I'll be giving up a margin top, a margin bottom, a margin left, and margin right, so that the nav links that I have, I want my nav links to have a particular margin to itself so that I can see them nicely. So margin top, it would be approximately of 36 pixels. And I want this as important. Same way, I'll be also doing my other margin. That will be margin bottom, this will be for margin left, and this will be for margin right. And the first is margin left that I want. So accordingly, margin right would also be of 36 pixels. I want this to be margin top and this to be margin bottom. So this should be of approximately what we can say 10 pixel and 10 pixel for top and bottom. And for left and right, I want it to be 36 pixel. I'll be saving it up. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, so as you can see that the spacing has been provided to it. See, as I can see that as I have styled it margin left, my nav bar, when I hover over the drop down, the link is being somewhat out. So we'll be also styling it out so that it can be inside. So I'll be going to my drop down menu now, and I'll be styling some of the things to it. Or let's say, or let's not go to that drop down menu and style it out. We are actually running a bit late in time. So I'll be just styling out the navbar and shifting to something else. Okay, so now what we have to style is that now I want to actually style my nav link, and I want to change the color when it hovers. So we write this, then we will place in a double colon, and then we do hover over it. So I want to do something when it hovers over. So I'll be just changing the color, and let's see what happens. Color, and I want the color to change to dark, and let's say and okay, let's make this important because this is something that I want to be. The things that we feel are important, please give a tag of important, so the CSS would look at the important files first, and then it would look at the other ordinary file. So you can see that when I hover over it, I get a different color. Don't worry about the part where it gets out of the drop down box. We'll be fixing that. Just look at the color part now, that when I place in the color, it hovers. When I hover over the part, the color changes. Okay, so now we'll be fixing up that drop down part. So as you can see that the drop down class has two things in major. First, it has a class of drop down item, and second, it has a class of drop down style. So we'll be clicking up both the classes to make sure that the action that I want to provide means the part that goes left margin, it's taking a margin of left as we have provided with the margin left here. So it is going a bit to the left hand side. I want to fix it up. So I'll be firstly placing in two classes. That was a drop down dash item. And the second one was navbar style link. So as you can see that the both of the classes that were defined to the navbar have been called. And now I'll be just giving it a function of margin left, a class of margin left, and I don't want any margin to go away. So I don't want the links to shift to the left. So I'll be placing in a 0 pixel to that, and I don't want it to change. So I'll be giving it a class of important. So it shouldn't change. I'll be saving this up, and now as you can see, the classes are completely inside it. So I guess this is the styling that we wanted from our dropdown. I guess I have missed a class somewhere. That's why the paths are not visible to us. No, styling is slow. It's not that styling is slow. Okay, so the navbar part, I guess, is completely okay with everybody. I have been very slow with it. I have explained you how a navbar can be built from when we take the code from Bootstrap and style it out. This is somewhat a basic styling that I can give you with. And I guess this styling runs for us. This looks, I guess, perfectly okay to you. You can do a lot of changes when you do the styling by yourself. As we are in a crunch of time, I'll be doing some of the styling that I have done now. Is everybody okay with this? So I can, okay, you want me to explain the CSS part again? Okay, I'll do it one more time. I won't write it again. I'll be just reading it out and explaining what it's doing. Okay. So firstly, I have given my navbar, a basic navbar of padding. As we had seen before, my navbar didn't have any padding. Every content that I had in my navbar were to the extreme corners of it. So I wanted my corners to provide some of the padding to that particle. So I gave a padding of left and right of 6 pixel, and I wanted some padding at the bottom as well because it was very sticky there. So I have given a padding of 6% and 0 pixel means that I don't want any padding from above. Second part is a navbar style. I wanted this shadow, the box shadow I wanted. So I gave a navbar style that I have given here to the navbar, and then I have given it a box shadow. Thirdly, I wanted to style my links. So I've given a color of dark blue, the font size of 500, font size font weight of 500, font size of 15 pixel, letter spacing of 1 pixel, and everything that I've written here was in lowercase. Some were in lower, some were in upper. So I wanted everything to be in uppercase. So I told my part that text transform to uppercase. The links were very close to each other as we have seen. So I just gave them some margin of left and right, top and bottom, so that it can provide a margin and provide some space. Then when I hover over the link, I wanted the color to change to something. So I gave it a color. And lastly, in my dropdown, as I had given a class of something else above, which was this margin left, my links of dropdown were shifting towards the left a bit also. So for my dropdown links, I didn't want that to happen. So I gave it a class of margin left 0. Why we use important? We use important for certain things that we want to define. So CSS would look at the styles that are important first and then to other codes. So certain things in the navbar, certain things in different contents are important to us, that this is something that I want to have it styled. If anything, not else, but this is something that I want this to have its style. So I use important. It's upon you. If you want to use important, you can, you don't, but there are certain things in my CSS that are important to me. So I use a class of important. So my CSS file looks first at the things that are important. It varies it out, gives the class of importance to them. and gives that class is important, and then others. Okay, so I guess now the navbar part is, can you explain about box shadows? Yeah, okay, I'll be explaining the box shadows. So this part represents the top, bottom, left and right pixels that I want to give, and these represents the color that I want to provide. Same goes with this. This represents the pixels that I want to give to my top, bottom and everything, and this represents the color. The color would be black. It's just that I want the opacity to be of something. So I guess everybody is okay with the styling of the navbar now. So we can move to, actually we have to cover forms and table as well. So I guess if everybody is okay with navbar now, we'll go to form and everything as well. A couple of yes would do, please. Okay. So as I have told you that I have used section, firstly, I'll be using sections again to different parameters as well. So I'll be giving it, I'll be providing a class, of section, and I'll be giving certain parameters to it as well. So I'll be doing a section class. You will get to know why I have used it. Just be with me for some time. Let me just code it out for you guys, and then I'll explain it to you. And you can code it out with me as well. This is margin left. I want it to be 0 pixel. And I want this to be of certain importance as well. I want my margin right also to be of 0 pixel. I want the display to be of and the section should also have a padding of something. Yeah, padding is important. It's 30 px. Okay. So why I have used, actually now I have actually formatted a section part. I'll be using section everywhere. Love section tags. So I have just given that section tag or something that I want. So section tag comes with certain things, but I want my section tag to have margin left of 0, margin right of 0. Display should be in a block structure, and the padding should be from the top to whatever I have returned. So I guess everybody would be okay with that. So I've provided with the section tag. I guess now we can move to the second part that we had seen was, just a second, we collected that. Yeah, okay. So the second part was why it is bootstrap. I'll just show you what are we going to make now. So now let's make what is bootstrap, which is present over here. So I'll be just commenting out first the things that I am doing, so that if I provide you with the code, you can have an idea about where is what. So this would be what is bootstrap. Okay, yes. So this part would be what is bootstrap. This part was navbar. So let us be a little quick in this. This is not something. So I'll be writing section. I'll be giving the section ID section or an ID of nothing. If I want to design it for a later part, I'll be having ID so I can design it out. I want the style. I have told you that I can also style certain things from here as well. So I'm styling it part out. So if you want to style certain things itself in the tags, I'll be using style parameters. So there will be a style. I want the background color to be white. So I'll be using background color, and I'll be selecting white. So my background color would be white. The second part that I want to do is that now the part of bootstrap comes in, the grid system. So as we were talking tomorrow, the first part that I'll be using is, the first is container, the second would be row, then would be the columns of specific size that I want to use. So as we can see here, I want to have my image, I'll be just displaying it to you. I want my image to be in a certain parameter, and I want my what is bootstrap to be in a certain parameter. For example, certain parameter as in a certain space. So this is something which is presented in column 6. This is something that is also presented in column 6. So we'll be doing that. So firstly, for giving out classes, you don't need to write everything out. I won't be writing div, then I'll be putting the tags here, supposing like take just a second. I won't be writing out like this. What we can do just is that if I want to give my div a class of container, just write dot, write container and press enter, and I get a div class of container. Same goes with row. I'll be just those using a dot. I'll be writing row and I get a div class of row. Same with go with column. So I will write dot column, that would be of column MD-6. I'll be pressing enter and I get a column of MD6. So up till now, I guess everybody's fine. This is the best way and the fastest way to write the codes out. So the first column is presented here. I also want a second column wherein I can write about what is Bootstrap. The first column would have an image and the second column would have a heading and a paragraph about what is Bootstrap and everything like that. So let's go about it. So the second column would be also column of column dash MD6. And we'll be writing the h tag here. So here as we saw, I want image, I'll call in an image tag, I'll press enter, I just have to write the source. So image slash, I'll get a source of who we are. So this is that image that I wanted to call. And I'll be using a class of image fluid. The class of image fluid is something that it provides certain parameters and certain widths and boundaries to that image by the classes itself. I won't be defining what fluid image is. It provides, as there is the navlink class, there is a fluid image fluid class. As you can see, I guess the image is very nicely visible here. Everybody's okay with that, this image part. So now we'll type in what is Bootstrap also. Guys, a couple of years again would do. Okay. So now we'll be going to what is Bootstrap. So the what is Bootstrap actually uses is that it uses two things. One would be my h1 tag and other would be my p tag. H1 means the thing that the title and p would be an idea about that. So firstly, it would be in h3 tag, I can say h3. I'll be giving it a class of say heading 1, and yeah, that will do for now. And what is Bootstrap? Now I'll be writing a p tag, and p would have, I'll be styling p out here only because I just want to give it a color. There is no need to give a class, go to style.css and just give it a color. So I'll be giving it a color of, let's say, gray. I'll give it a color of gray. And I'll just, yeah, if you want, you're just testing things out. We don't need to write things to test it out. Just write lorem and the number of words you need after lorem. So I supposedly need 20 words. So I write lorem 20, press enter, and I get 20 words that are given to me by lorem itself. There is no need of writing up things to just test it out. So now we'll just see how does this look. And as you can see that it looks like this. So I just want my what is Bootstrap to be of different color, a particular font size and font width. So now we'll be looking towards that. I guess everybody is with me up till now. So I can just now style those part out. A couple of years again would do. Okay, so now I'll be going to my style.css and I'll be writing up for what is Bootstrap. I'll be also using your comments so that when I give you the code out, you can actually have an idea of what I was doing. Okay, so firstly, I'll be styling up my heading. So the name that I'm given to my heading was heading 1. Okay, so now I'll be designing what is heading 1. It just has a class of heading 1 that I want to design, and then we can move up to the next part. The heading 1 should have actually a font size of we can say 2.5 rem. The conversion, you can see it afterwards. I'm just using up things so that you can also know that what are the things that you can use it out. The first part that I'm using is font size in rem. The second part would be padding bottom, that it gives me a particular padding. The third part that I'll be using is font weight that I had used for the thing that earlier. This is something that I want for 400. Then I'll be giving it a margin of 1 em to the top and 0 to the bottom. And then I'll be using and I'll be giving a color. And the color can be this. Okay. So I will save this and we'll see how does this look. And as you can see, the styling that I wanted has been visible. Everything that I have styled now looks good to me. Okay, I just close this. Okay, so see, this is what this looks like. There is a drop down which is coming on this part up. That is also not a problem. The home page is also there, and what is Bootstrap is also completely visible. Okay, so the card styling is also being done by the same way. As I guess we are a bit running in a crunch of time, I won't be showing you footer and cards. This is something that I'll be giving you the code today. You will be getting that what does this is. I had explained you somewhat code yesterday. This is the font awesome library that I have used. And okay, if we have some more time, I'll be explaining this also to you, or we'll be taking up it's in PHP, or when we'll be building a project. I need to teach two things now. Firstly, the table, and secondly, the form. So I guess now we can start with the form part. Okay, so now I'll be just making a form.html thing, and I can this style here. So as you can see that with my index, I was able to go to my form as well. It's not being deflected to that form because I didn't provide it with that form part. So in that form href, it is hash. The hash directs you to the same page. I'll be writing form.html and it will direct me to the form.html part. So then we start styling. So as you can see, it is completely empty. There is no boilerplate in it as well. So I'll be copy pasting the HTML things from that boilerplate. Get copy pasted. Just deleting this section and the navbar section because it's not needed now. So let's just get rid of that. Okay, so we'll be looking at form now, a form that is used for many purposes. So the styling of this form is basically important right now because in PHP, we won't be teaching you how to style this form now. We'll be just showing you how to integrate backend with a front end and how do you build a backend. So please be with me for the form and the table part because form and the table part are the things that are used on a very often basis, and form is something, and this is something that I'll be building from scratch. So you'll be understanding each and every crunk of it. So firstly, as I have told you, we start with a section tag, give it an ID of say forms. If I want to use that ID, I'll be calling in with a hashtag in the style.css and I'll be getting it up. Then we give it a container. So I'll be giving it a class of container, and I want, okay, I just missed that out, container, and it should be 5. I have just given it a padding of 5. Just wait, we'll give it afterwards so that you can understand that why the padding was provided in the first place. Then I'll be using row with respect to column. Div first, I'll be giving, okay, I just made that part wrong out here with a class of row, and then I'll see, yeah. Now I'll be using a column dash MD3 class, and I won't be shifting this div downwards because I want my, let's just inspect the first part out so that you can understand why are we using this part, why do we do that. Let's go, and I'll just full screen it, and then we can see this part. Okay, so see this part and this part that I have seen here, this part is something that I provided right now. I want my form in the middle, and column 6 doesn't provide me with that part. Containers gives me a particular part which comes in the middle, but not something of a very particular kind in the middle. So I give it a class of, the rest of the part is, see, the orange part is something that I get from the container. The column MD part is that spacing that I need for my contact us form, which I'm writing. And I have used a column MD part at the right hand side as well as the left hand side, and the column MD part 6 in the middle, so that I can get a clear picture. I guess everybody got that part, that why are we using it, because I just need padding. Now we'll be actually making a class of column dash MD6 for our form. So this is that part out. Okay, we won't be styling it now, we'll be styling it later so that you can get a crunch of what is happening with that. Now we'll be placing in two things. First, I want to place my form in a card. So I need a card and a card body. So I'll be giving my card, giving my form a class of first card. So this is card and a card body. Card dash body. Yeah. So this is the part that where it gives us a card, and this is part where it gives us a card body. Now I'll be using we can actually okay, we'll use this up. I haven't, this won't look very good, but it would work. So I want contact us in that card body. So it will be in the, so this is the card that is there, and this is provided by a 6. If we inspect this up, so see, this is in the middle because I have given a MD of 3 here, MD of 6 here, and I have to provide a MD of something so that when I actually make the border short, it doesn't provide me with some margin error or something like that. So, okay, so the contact us is perfectly visible. I don't want my card to have borders. I'll be using border dash 0 class here, and the borders would be gone. Okay, see, the border is being gone. So as you can see that my contact us just shifts somewhat to the right hand side, from to the right, towards the left hand side from the right hand side. So I don't want that. So I have to provide a class of MD column 3 at the end also. We'll do that and we'll inspect it again and we'll see what happens, and it will be sorted out. So now actually we will be building a form. So for that part, we need a form of a class of form. The form, I put in enter and we get a part. In this action, if I submit okay, I'll be explaining the action part in some time as we build up the form. Up till now, I guess nobody would not have a problem. I'm going pretty much slow. So I'll be continuing with the form because I haven't styled it yet. I haven't done something that would be of certain importance. Firstly, I'll be giving my form a class of form group. So the class of form group is provided to me by Bootstrap itself. What form group means, why do we use form group? I'll be explaining as I complete the form, we style the form, and why does we use that? I'll be explaining it in some time. So I'll be first placing in a class of form dash group, placing an enter, I get a class of form group. So there are two major components of a form. One would be label and one would be input. So firstly, I'll be building a label for everything that I made, and then I'll be building up an input for everything I made. So first then would be a label for I want the form for input one, say, and then I'll be giving it a name of supposedly say email. Okay, just email address. Okay, now I want to take the email address. So I'll be using an input field because any label that I provided just tells me that what it is about. I need a box that takes that input field. So I type in input, I type enter, and I get a part. So the type means I want a type that is email. Everything that I'm typing right now would be explained afterwards. Just be with me and just note that what are the things that you need to have in a form. A class of form control. And what do you have? We should have a placeholder. Okay, yeah, we will have a placeholder so that we can know that what enter your email. Okay, so now we'll just see what it looks like, and see, this is what it looks like. It's the email address and enter your email. So now we'll be copy pasting this and making a same thing for password as well. So I'll be some things that are here are in uppercase, some are in lowercase, just ignore it out. We'll get it sorted out later. So here I get a part for enter your password. I'll be explaining why I've used certain classes. Just you have to actually tab the things out so that it gives you a good view what you are writing, what does that part stands for, and what does that have. So I'll just change the name to input 2 and this to password. So I'll just tell you now that why do we use form group and form control. So form group is used that because that in a particular form I have divided these things in a group. Supposingly there is a class of 40 students. The first 10 students is group A, the second students is group B. So if I want to call out something or I want to know that who is where and what is who, I'll be telling that group A come here, group B come here. Same goes with a form. A form has certain parameters and certain inputs, and I'm giving them by a part of form group so that I can have the things that we had, like there was a nav bar and there were nav items in that nav bar. Same goes with a form. A form has form groups. Secondly, what is the class? Why do we use a class of form control? So form control is basically used so that everything that I write in a form that would be your should be in this box that is highlighted. No, nothing should exceed this box. Nothing should go out of this box. Everybody should be in that box. So that class is provided to, that part is provided to us by Bootstrap by the class of form control. So I guess everybody is okay with up till that. The label represents the email address that was present on the top, and the placeholder represents enter your email. So this is the label, and this is the placeholder that is inside it. So now I'll be making up a radio button. So radio button works a bit differently. It requires different classes. So first class would be form check. I'll be explaining this as I did for the earlier form dash check. I'll be placing an enter and I'll be placing it form dash check dash inline. Why do I do this? I'll be telling you this also. Just wait for some time. I'll tell you. I'll be writing up it, showing you. So same goes with your also. It will require an input field and a label. So input, the type should be the radio. Radio button is a type. So the type should be radio. Your the type was email. It means text. Your type also, password also means text. This the input should be radio. Your the class would be form control input. Form dash control dash input. Yeah, and I have to give it a value class also. Why? I'll tell you in some time. A class of value, I'll give it option 1, and I have to give it a ID of, I say, radio 1. Now what I'll be doing is, now I'll be giving it a label so that I can know what the radio button stands for. So label is for radio 1, and the class should be form check label. Form dash check dash form dash check dash label. Okay, and I'll be labeling it as 1. So here the first radio button ends. I'll be copy pasting it because I need, let's say, 3 radio buttons. Okay, so I'll be just changing up the value. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. And everything that was with it. So it is for read, value should be value 2. ID should be radio button 2. Here also the value should be 3. And the ID should be of radio button 3. Here also it is for 3, for 2, and for 1. Yeah, the type shouldn't be changed. Note that the type shouldn't be changed. The type indicates that the type in the input part indicates that which type is this. It is a radio button. So I have given a type of radio which is provided to me by Bootstrap itself. It's nothing that I have made. I'm going to style it out. It's just that there is a type of radio which I have been provided with the Bootstrap. So I'll be using it a type of radio. I won't be changing the type here. So I will just look at how does it look and see. This is how it looks. The radio buttons would work when we do certain things with it. Right now, we are not doing or placing out an input or doing certain things with it. So it won't be giving out any output. So, okay, let's start. So firstly, why form check? The form check class indicates that check whether the radio button, there is a form, we have to check whether the radio button is checked or not. And form check inline means that I want my radio button to be inline. If I don't use inline, I save it, then it would be like this. It would be in a particular vertical manner. Here it is form inline and inline. That's why it is not in a particular manner. But if you don't use form inline, if you want the radio buttons in a vertical way, it would be like that. But majority, the radio buttons are in a horizontal way. That's why we use form inline. Now, why the class form control input? The form control means that the things, the part where this comes should be particularly selected inside that button. So that's why there is a part of form control input. And form check label means whether the things that I have checked should be of that particular label. These are also the class that are provided by the Bootstrap. I'm just explaining what the classes do or what the class means. But the format of the class, the writing of the way I've written is given to us by Bootstrap. So this is the way you have to write it out. So now I guess everybody is okay with the radio buttons also. Now we'll be making up 2 things. One would be the select multiple part, and then would be a part where we submit the form by a button. We'll be doing that also in a particular amount of time. Now I'll be placing in a div, and this div would have a class of form group. Form dash group. And now I want a label. because we have a label and an input for everything that we make. I have a label to select things. I want to select things from here, and the label would be, I guess, say select. The label should be for say select gender. Yeah, okay. So now the label, whenever I want to select something out, I have to give it a select, a name of select, and a part where I actually give it a class. So I'll be also using a select part here again. I'll be giving it a select. The name would be select because that is what this is. And I won't be using an ID. I'll be using a class, which is of form control. Same, the things that I want to select should be in that particular part. And now I have to give it some options, because if I want to select something, I have to give it some options. So I'll be typing in option. Value should be what I can say. The value can be nothing. It's just that I want that to be male. So I made a spelling part. Okay. And I'll be copy pasting this out. So there are 3 genders that are, I can use it. If there is something that doesn't work it out for you guys, please don't be mad at me. It just I'm writing some things out so that I can have 3 inputs, male, female, and others, and the div is closed. Okay, so this is something that works. So I'll open it live server. I get a part of input. I won't be getting a part to select it out. Why? Just a second. Okay, I made a mistake. I didn't take the select down. So these are the things that's why I was talking about the format, that the format should be like that so that it doesn't give you or throw or error to you. I'm opening with live server, and now I get the 3 options that I want to select. Male is male, female is female, and others would be others. Okay. So now we'll be making 2 things. One would be text area. Text area is something that we all know. I'll be just covering 2 things now. First would be the div, a class of, I just placing this. Okay, just a second. And mistake, I guess. First would be a class of form group, what we can say. Then I need 2 things, a label and an input. So the label is for text area, and I want the label as enter text, big text. Then I want the text area class. So the text area, it gives me everything. I don't want columns as such. 10 rows is something that is big. If I want to take out a big message, then I'll be using that. The ID is something that is not something of I use. I'll be just naming a part where it has a class of form control, a class of form control, so that everything fits in. Yeah. By the rows. The part rows is that till how many, what size of text area do I require? So I require a text area of this much. If I increase this to 5 and save it, it would be a bit more, but I don't want that. So I'll be using it only 3. It has increased, as you can see. I'll be using only 3. Now comes the main part of a form, which is a submit button. So here I'll be parting it out. This submit button should be in form. Many of people think that the submit button should be out, but there would be a button, then there would be a type. The type of a submit button should be submit, so that it knows it is a property for Bootstrap, that when I submit the form, it needs to put a part of a particular function out that would be in the action here. So the form had some action. I'll be writing some, we can say action .php here. So when I submit it, the submit button would require action. So on this part, whatever backend code I've written, it would look after that. So the submit button, I've given it a type of submit and a class of btn, and I'll be using btn dash primary, and I get, and the form is over. So we'll just do that and we see the form has been made. Okay, I have not returned this part here that I want to submit it. So if we do this, we get a part of submit, and if I submit, action.php is not made by me, so it won't do that anything. So this is a contact form that is given to you. I am not styling it out. I'll be providing you with certain things that you can just style it out, because I have to also complete a second part, which is table. Table is something which would be very easy to use. So, okay, I just need to write table.html, and then we'll be done for the day. I'll be sharing my files today because you know how the files are made, how I have actually designed out certain things and all of that. Again, we'll be requiring a boilerplate. So I'll be copy pasting the boilerplate in the table part, and I will be just removing the rest of the sections that I don't need. Okay, so now we'll be building a table. Table is also required for this. So now the table part is something that is given to us by Bootstrap, and it's very easy to use. It's section. Then I'll be using an ID here. ID can be given a class of table or whatever things you want, but table would be good because it's a table. Then a container, the grid, I'll be using a grid system. So I'll be just container, then I'll be using H2 here. Remember that table should not be in column and rows, because we are providing the table with that column and rows. So never write a table in column and rows. If you want to be used a table column and rows, there are certain parameters, but that is the advanced part that we use. I'll be writing, okay, I'll be just copy pasting the way I did for form as well. Contact us so that we can save a bit of time. Okay, so this is tables. Yeah, so the first part of the table would be the table tag, as we had the form tag present. So I'll be using a table tag. Similarly, I'll be making a table in front of you, and I'll be explaining you that how does it work. So the table tag would have a class of, I had explained you in yesterday's PPT as well, that what are the classes that we use in the table. The first would be table if I want to style the table. Second would be I want my table to be bordered. So I'll be using table bordered. Then I'll be using a class of table hover. If I hover on the rows, I want my part, my columns to hover. That's why I use table hover. And then I want that part to be a bit down. So padding 3. Okay, padding is something that you put in for the styling. It's just the spacing that you provide. Then I'll be using a part of the head. The head means whatever I want as my what we can say. Oh shit! How can I not tell you? Okay, I'll just frame it nicely. Table head is something that the first part of the table, the major parts in the table that I need detail. That supposedly from the form I'm taking details, email, password, and gender. So these are the table headers that I'm using. Yeah, table head means table headers. So I'll be placing in table headers. So the format would be same for the TR because they are in rows. Then TH represents tables heading, and then the name of that heading that I'm using. So the table heading should have a scope. Scope basically means, okay, what went wrong? Okay, I need to write in here. I also need this up. Yeah. So basically means that where is that particular part being placed? That means scope, that the particular part has a scope of either a row or a column. So I want that to be in a column. So I'll be putting a scope of column, and the first part would be that I'm taking is details. The next part that I'm taking would be, I'll be just copy pasting this now. This would be email, this would be password. I'll be just making 3 rows now. I had made 4 to 5, but to save time, I'll be using email and then the password. Yeah. So this is where the table T head gets ready. So now table heading is ready. Now I want certain things that should be present in my body. So I use T body and I'll be placing in the things that are yours. Same goes with this. It should also be in rows. So T rows, the scope should be row, and the scope should be of row 1. And here I will have the details. The scope should be of row 1 and the TH should be row 1. This would be TD. This would be TD. This would be TD. And I have to close it with TH because I want my table heading I want the first to be the table heading. So this is the format. Yeah. So there is a row. I need the part of the scope. The first thing that I want is a particular part where TH is my table heading, which is of the first row. I want the things that are I'm going to write here in my first row. So what I want is I want my email address. So this is test@gmail. And I want my password as 1234. So this would be present perfectly there. So this is the way the table body works. I'll be just copy pasting it again for multiple inputs. I want this to be in second row. This would be 1 and the password would be 5. I save it. And I guess this is where the tables end. Yeah, see. So if I want my table head to be of some darker color, so what I can do is that I can go in my T head section and I can write my table class T head section. I can write a class of T head dash dark and save it, and my T head would be in dark. See, so it is in dark now. And the tables can also be in the text center. So I'll be putting it text center is a class where whatever we have written according to the page that is of 12, it comes in the middle of that page. As the name indicates, text center. So it comes in the center now. So I guess this is the parts that I have built of the basic ones. The table is required for the input to be shown. Form is required to input to be passed on, and the home page required is for something that should be our landing page. So I guess the session can be ended here now. I'll be sharing you the file, the Bootstrap file. I have made this. I have made this form out with you guys. So this is something that I didn't style, but I'm pretty much sure that I have written it very nicely, that you will be understanding that what are the certain things that I've used for. And I had also made this card out because of certain amount of time crunch. We are not able to use it out, but I'm pretty much sure that I've also written it very nicely in CSS. So you'll be getting that what are the classes that I've used. The font awesome part, if you don't understand the font awesome part, I'll be taking up in the PHP session, or when we build out a second a framework, or not a framework but a portal, or online portal, or system that we'll be building up, integrating front end and back end with the help of MySQL. So I'll be explaining you if you don't use, but I'm pretty much sure that you will be able to access how to use the font awesome. And I guess the session is done for the day. Yeah, thank you everybody for attending.
Yes, thank you, Josh, for today, and thank you everyone for attending today's session. We have recorded it and we'll also share it if somebody missed it, and we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day.